Element said the busy builder is now live. Streaming miniatures.
Hello. Okay, let's make C next. We need an F sprue and a K sprue.
Era Studio said hi.
Hello. F21. Oh, that's yeah. Okay. Just trying to make sure I got things right.
Era Studio said how's you?
I'm alright. Like I said, just woke up to my back being locked up, so it's been hard to get moving. F11. Making the frame for the armored window cover that goes on the inside. But I'll be gluing them in the open position. Just adds a little more to the outside look of the model. Just trying to remember which parts go where and do what. So, K sprue. 32 and 33. That's the hinge. They don't make it so you can move them, which is kind of a shame. They molded it so the lock pin can be put in one of the three positions for open, middle, or closed. Then again, getting it to function in this size would be difficult. But I'd be happy with just something I could swing open or not. So I'm gluing them open. What are you up to today? How are the puppers?
Era Studio said they okay.
I do have to say I like this ring light a lot more. It doesn't produce hot spots like the other light did. I was looking at some of the older videos. It's a more uniform, softer tone. So, 13, 11, and 47. 9. There's 9. 13. 11. 47. 47 is the little lock. There we are. So, are you going to do anything with your time today, or are you just going to doom scroll as well? You're doom scrolling right now, aren't you?
At Eli Montla Z5C asks hello.
Hello, Eli. How you doing? Welcome to the channel. Actually, I gotta drop the cane. No, there's somebody on the Twitch side that's watching. I just got to adjust something. You're the first on the YouTube side. How's that?
At Eli Montla Z5C said At Eli Montla Z5C said good. Era Studio 7 here. At Thimago Student 20 said hey ho.
Well, you missed last week, Model Student. Or not last week. What day was that? Well, kind of last week. You missed Friday. But I haven't been my best lately. Just been out of it, you know, different things here and there. Welcome to old age, I guess. I'm having a better day today, aside from waking up with my back feeling like it wants to kill me.
Laura Studio said BRB, need to get some food. At Thimago Student 20 said it is a cooker here today working outside is a killer.
Well, it's actually cooler here today, and we might be expecting a little rain this afternoon and some snow at higher elevations. We're just working on the visors for the Puma. So that's going to go here. because that'll swing open like that. Okay. And then this one will go here. I want to have it all the way open when it's installed, so that'll go like that, which means this little bugger still feels like my hands are too exposed in terms of the light. I might need to adjust the brightness a little bit, or the exposure. Give me a second. It just seems to be too hot of a hot spot. Oh, that never works. Yeah, let's knock the exposure. There we go. That way my hands aren't glowing. I don't have radioactive hands anymore. Yay! The wife might be disappointed, though. I hope everybody's having a good weekend. My next day on will be Friday, and then after Friday, it will be Monday. Why aren't you lining up? There we go. Yeah, I want to make a I want to make a better base for it, though. I'm still trying to kind of toss ideas around. I went to we have a Daiso near here, which is like a Japanese dollar store kind of place, or a discount store. And they had some really cheap mech bases. I might use those to kind of cobble something together. It is, and if you've had anything to do with that, I appreciate it. You've been quiet, though. What's going on? I hope you're okay. Nothing bad going on at home, I hope. I know you've been doing some rework and remodeling. I'd really like to consider rearranging my hobby space, too. I was thinking of moving the lit display cases that are behind me and shifting them that way more, bringing the unlit ones down this way to match up with that one. And then I've got some Bluetooth light string that I can attach to them. Figure maybe I can attach that into... Did I just glue that on the wrong side? I just glued that on the wrong side. Maybe figure out how to get that to work with the alerts if possible. I know they're not designed for it, but if they're Bluetooth, it means it can connect to the computer. If it can connect to the computer, it can possibly do things. I don't know how to make that happen, but I want to try. I'm stupid when it comes to stuff like that. Yeah, the sub count is up to... Last I saw was 912? Possibly a little higher. So...
A Puma student 20 said I'm just taking a break. Had to move my son and a bunch of yard pool from Reno and reorganize.
Ah, gotcha.
Again.
Yeah,
I'm
913.
going to post an update tonight. I finished the AH finally. Rolling on the floor laughing emoji.
Yeah, I'm trying to finish something. I've been working on a lot, but not finishing anything. I've got the half track near me, so if I wanted to switch to that, I can. But I want to get construction on this going.
20 said otherwise I'm good. I hope your back behaves for you.
Well, as long as I don't sneeze today, I think I'll be alright. Okay, so we got that one made. We're going to glue that in place. As you can see, I've made them in the open position, so when I put the armored cover on, it'll sit open. Thing is, it's got bulletproof glass piece for it. I could have sworn that stayed here while the cover opened, but the instructions are saying glue it to the cover. So I think it's just part of the vision slit that's on it. I'm just going to follow the instructions.
A Puma student 20 said awesome. You should get a good watch time, I would hope.
I hope. I haven't... My streams have been a lot shorter lately, too, but... The first time, I was exhausted. If you go back and watch that hour-long one from like 2 or 3 streams ago, you can tell I just was not there mentally. And then the last one, still kind of feeling off. I think part of it, I've cut soda out almost completely. The most I do is a bottle of water with a little squirt of Mio in it for a little flavor. But I've totally cut soda out. So cutting the soda out, I think, is throwing my system out of whack because I'm no longer on a day-long sugar high, you know? Okay, so this one will have the glass here separate from the hatch. Okay, good. Oh yeah, this is 1/16. So we're just working our way around from here to here. We'll do that one and that one. Try and get all the inside detail stuff here finished up. I don't think there's anything to go here, which is a shame because you'll be able to see some of it. So I might paint the interior a bit darker. Maybe just highlighting what's up here, paint the lower hull in like the dark gray color it would have been. So, but yeah, you'll be able to see a little bit through. Had I really thought about it. Even coffee, I mainly... Today I splurged, I had 2 cups. Ooh, I used to be like a 4 or 5 cup a day person. No more, but I'm trying to cut all that caffeine and crap out because I can see what it's doing. And mostly the sugar too. Can I glue the glass piece in after this is? Oh no, that's just a frame. Okay. So let me get this. No, but it used to be I'd come home and I'd be slamming, you know, 3, 4 Mountain Dews in the afternoon. And I'm like, this ain't good. I gotta stop this. So I told the wife, don't buy me anymore. Don't even buy me the zero stuff, nothing. I don't want that. Just buy me a 40 pack of water and some Mio. So while I'm down here, if I'm thirsty, I can just grab a water and hit that. I'm trying to get that crap back into being a treat, not a necessity. And she even noticed it on the groceries this past time without buying all the soda she'd normally buy. Between me, my son, and her, she was able to buy more food. I'm like, hey, see how that works? So there's that. 13, 11, and another 47. And you know, I'm gonna be hitting 50 this July. And it's beyond time, but it's really time to, you know, start being a bit more careful.
Puma 20 said I live in Canada and can't afford food. We eat sticks, burning face with sweat emoji.
No wonder the beavers are attacking people there. You're taking away their food source. Or are they zombievers?
Puma 20 said my birthday was a week ago. I'm just shaving 10 off the top, rolling on the floor laughing emoji.
Well, happy birthday. I wish I'd known. That was last Sunday. Right? Ah, fudge. Where'd you go?
Puma 20 said yep, it's a fight for survival now.
Yep, the beavers know. They can tell.
Puma 20 said
Oh,
thanks.
come on. Oh, I'm not enjoying that part. Of all the hatches, this one doesn't have you build the frame. It just has you glue everything straight to the hull.
Puma 20 said it was a quiet affair.
It's good to have quiet birthdays, though.
cloudy and gloomy today. At Puma City 20 said right now I am held prisoner by a lap dog and a tow cat. Rolling on the
I
floor.
think all my kitties are upstairs because we've got windows open, and when windows open, cats are in windows. That's, you know, unwritten cat rule. Window open, cat in window. Like I said, it's an oddly cool day. Lately it's been up into the 70s and 80s here, which is almost 90s, which is above normal. Which way do they want this going? Looks like this way. Okay. And today it's dropping back down in the 60s with a possibility of rain. Maybe I should have put that on first, but they really didn't state which does when. Really? Okay. There. That's how you're supposed to go. Yep, you have little latches there, and yeah, okay. Let's get you glued back in now that you actually have something to attach to. Yeah, if I had any kind of grievance about any tack-on design kit right now, the instructions are vague about part construction order. It doesn't tell you, oh, that goes in first because these rest on that, and, you know, so on and so forth. And there's so many little bitty pieces, there's no real way to test it beforehand. We're figuring it out as we go along. So knowing what we know now,
High 80s here today, maybe rain tomorrow. I wish this weekend was like this when I was a kid. I always remember camping in rain and mud. Rolling on the floor laughing emoji. At present Apollo 4189 said got it into the bathroom.
what? Okay. Welcome to the channel. That's a interesting first comment, but
At present Apollo 4189 said January 16th is bigger than perfect grade.
okay, that was weird too. Considering perfect grade is 1/60th, yeah.
At present Apollo 4189 said perfect grade is 1 of 60.
So even 1/35th scale is bigger than 1/60.
At Puma City 20 said I got spun on a couple parts with the image less clean, but instructions were a bit too vague.
Yeah, that's why I warned you about the swash plate rods beforehand. I wish I'd remembered about the instrument panel, but oh well.
At present Apollo 4189 asks, do you have a Gundam Barbados?
No, I'm not too big on Gundam.
20 said 172nd almost worked the sci-fi.
1/72 still a bit too small.
4189 said model.
66. I'm more into frame arms and kotobukiya, things like that.
At the model student 20 said bigs at 1/60th are printing, I think.
There's some railroad figures in that scale, but yeah, it's hard to get in-universe figures of that size. But 72nd scale would be too small.
At the model student 20 said, have you seen the Chinese rail mech? It's crazy.
No, I haven't. I'd say put up a link, but for some reason, YouTube doesn't like links from you.
At the model student 20 said, easier for your TV to stomp on. Rolling on the floor laughing emoji.
Where was I? Working on the rear one now. Right here. $13. 11. And 47.
At President Kala 4189 said Gundam is a cooler version of Star Wars.
Well, that's your opinion. Are we talking pre or post Disney Star Wars? If we're talking post Disney, sure.
At President Kala 4189 said 50th anniversary to Gundam.
But that would mean Gundam predates Star Wars.
At the model student 20 said, I tried it to Unit 3 GD01 $650,000.
That's the other reason I'm not a big Gundam fan, is Bandai is just... They're games workshopping themselves out of customers. It's like, yeah, their technology's great, but their stuff ain't worth that much. Not to me, anyway. If I got $650 to spend on a model, I'm buying another RC tank.
At Puma Student 20 said Gundam story was told the dialogue was a bit goofy, but that's part of the fun.
No, I couldn't get into Gundam. Not a fan. That's just me.
At Model Student 20 said I think they are saving our hobby though. I dropped in on a Korean Gunpro live stream with over 36.000 in the stream. Nobody else gets numbers like those. Nobody.
Oh, there's others that do, but you gotta question it, you know. Same time, again, it's not the people building it, you know. If people want that, that's fine. But I'm just not a fan of Gundam, you know. I'm more a Gasaraki, Patlabor kind of thing, and if I want something more fantastical, the 5-star stories. The times I've tried watching Gundam, it just didn't work for me. And honestly, it kind of contradicts itself, its own logic for the mechs. You know, these supposedly indestructible things, and then they get taken out by the simplest thing. It's like, huh? No, it's all over the place. They've got a pretty universal audience. It's harder to get in the States. More hobby shops over here are getting them, but it's harder to get. But that's more due to import stuff. And as an audience member, that takes me out of the story when they state one thing and they break it. You know, it's like, okay, your stuff ain't working, so no thanks. Okay, one more window frame to do, and then we get to move on to other things. There's not a lot to do, but there's still a lot to do, if that makes any sense whatsoever for you. I'm not going to assemble the armored covers for these until closer to painting time, because I got to be able to paint the inside and the outside of the covers, and then put the glass in. So. Well, that's the other thing. In Japan, The price is printed in yen on the box. It's typically what's covered up by the importer sticker in America. They have to be sold at that price. Meanwhile, we get fleeced by the importers and stuff because popularity. $21. $63. $67.
Model Study 20 says a PG new is $860 before taxes here. Without lights. Rolling on the floor laughing emoji.
What website are you checking? 1214.
At the Model Study 20 said not me, you.
But like the Weasel, I wish they would have given a little more of the interior. I'll try and make it work.
Model Study 20 said Canadian Gundam. He forgot he had a whole pallet of them. I think he is one of the only suppliers with right now. Full Dragon were sold out last I checked.
Well, it's not a question of sold out or not. It's already been imported, so Canadian Gundam's already putting their markup on it. Here. So it's the perfect grade new Gundam, is that what it is? Hold on. Yeah. So, minus shipping, if you were to order the perfect grade new Gundam from HobbyLink Japan, it's $451 American. That's the RX-93V. Is that the one you're talking about? It's the perfect grade Unleashed.
At the Model Study 20 said it's like 6 and change in US.
You're talking this one?
The Busy Builder sent a link.
Shipping might be a hair more, but if you're going to order Gundam, get it from HLJ. That's the one you were talking about, right? It's still a higher price than I'd want to spend, but it's definitely better than 600 to 800 that you'd be paying from all the other online distributors like Big Bad Toy Store and other places like that.
At Puma 20 said that ad shows $620 CA plus shipping and tax. Also shows out of stock.
Yeah, temporarily out of stock. They'll get it back. You can put a notification on there so they can tell you when it's back in stock too.
At Puma 20 said shipping might be a killer.
Usually not. They have options, and HLJ is pretty decent on shipping. I know their shipping is generally cheaper than Canada Post. But then again, whether it gets stopped at shipping or stopped at import and you get taxed for it is another thing. Because
Puma 20 said when they go out of production, that's when the numbers go even crazier.
oh yeah. But I don't think it's out of production yet. It's just temporarily out of stock while production catches up.
At Puma 20 said CA Post is expensive, yes.
But there's people out there that like Gundam. That's their bread and butter. That's fine. If they're getting that many views, that's great. I'm gonna build what I like. I'm gonna build how I like and when I like. Because if I'm not building something that I'm enjoying, I'm not gonna like it.
At Puma 20 said CA everything is expensive.
Yeah. You're not wrong there. Canada, everything is expensive. But everything everywhere is expensive right now. So it just pays to shop around a bit more, and if you can save a couple bucks, even though it might take longer through HLJ, I'd go through them. It's just a question of customs snags it on the way in and charges you the tax difference, which is what would make it up to the Canada price that's being sold at your other distributors.
At Puma 20 said me too, I am way fed up with model critics. They give our hobby a bad look.
Well, it's not even model critics. Put that in here. I cut the wrong one. It's the people that come in and shit all over you. And I don't mean like, oh, you should use AK, this and that. You should build Warhammer. You should build Gundam. You should build this. Every time I see that, no. Bye. You know, you should build Gundam. It gets this many views. But I'm not about Gundam. I mean, going along that logic, why don't I just post feet pictures online stepping in peanut butter and see what that gets me? Well, I'm not actually gonna do it, but you know what I mean.
At Puma City 20 said I have every Gundam kit I want except for one, and I get that one on Tuesday. I am
See?
complete.
But Gundam's like your thing. You like it. You have enthusiasm for it, and that's great. I don't, so I'm not gonna build it. And I get people every now and again. They're all about it, and again, that's great. It's your bailiwick, you know. It's your thing. Love it. I'm not gonna do it. I did one once a while back. It was a third-party TV desk scythe custom. You know, the one Bandai is still not released. They've done the movie version, but not the TV version.
At Puma City 20 said new
And-
modelers just want to get a win and have fun, not obsess about accuracy and technique yet.
Well, it's not even that. That's the thing. New modelers think that's all it's about right now. I went to a model club meeting last week, and you've still got people there obsessing over like different things on models that I get that's your passion, but it's not everybody's, and it feels like an hour of the meeting was wasted on
At Puma
that
City 20
passion.
said you must build Gundam or DIE. Rolling on the floor laughing emoji.
I mean, get me a Gasaraki kit. I need to know when those are going to get reissued. Because right now their prices are a bit, and I'm not about to pay that. Alright, so outside of the armored shields for the outside of the vehicle, we are now going to go to the engine deck. Where I'm getting told to build hinges. I think I'm going to glue the doors in place first, and then just glue the hinges to the doors. That way I'm not fucking around trying to hold a door still while I'm trying to put tiny hinge parts on it.
At Puma
Yeah.
City 20 said they don't tell them where the counters from thin.
Oh, this is beyond rivets, dude. This is... How about this? You had to be there.
At Puma City 20 said yay engine bay.
Oh, more the engine deck, not the bay. Moving around my new flexi bendy camera mount. It is more susceptible to this, but
Puma City 20 said don't get me started on hinge parts. Rolling on the floor laughing
oh, come on, I want to get you started on hinge parts. I want you to become unhinged over hinge parts. See what I did there? Yeah, you can unsubscribe if you want.
At Puma City 20 said oh heck the engine deck. Rolling on the floor laughing emoji.
Okay. And I might throw the other side sponsons doors on. We shall see.
City 20 said face with symbols on mouth emoji hinges. Way AFB. There I'm done. Rolling on the floor laughing emoji.
What did you have trouble on with hinges recently? Is this like a house remodel hinge thing, or is this something else? Shame they didn't actually include some form of engine bay for it. And we're still working towards getting the Leopard 2A7. Don't know where I'd put it, because it's a big bastard. And I've got 2 other Leopard 2s already. Oh yeah, the canopy. Yeah, canopy hinges. Yes, they did slow it down. Whoa. They're the Sofa King, right? So this is 19, which, according to the destructions, goes here. I don't know, I think the tail rotor could have been designed a bit better. Well, shit. I'm guessing it's going to be holes in, because then these snap to it. Okay. Again, the detailing is so similar, the instructions don't really help, because you got raised divots on this side, holes on this side. And autofocus isn't helping here. But seeing that I have to fit vents into here, I'm guessing holes inward. Or not. Or did they get them backwards? Don't fucking tell me they got them backwards. Now, why would you go and do a thing like that? Shame! There we go. Now I almost feel bad hyping you up to build it. Sounds like that kit gave you more trouble than you were expecting. But this is also an example of how, like, when I built it, I had a wonderful time building it, but when you built it, you seemed to have difficulty, you know? Now, if we were both reviewing the kit, you would give it a less than stellar review, and I would give it a glowing review. Alright, so I'm going to get some more music going, and then I'm going to take a move around break and stretch my back out, because it's been bugging me all fucking day. So I will be right back. I'm going to raise this up a little too.
At the Model Student 20 said what made it hard was the fact that I took extended breaks due to stuff and lost the train. That's what I think did me in.
That's a good possibility. I think that's what's screwing me up on finishing a few kits as well, is I'm not having any problem with them, but I'm just kind of losing motivation. So, I'll be back. Just give me a few moments to stretch out.
At the Model Student 20 said I think it's a great kit except for the hinges and the rotor assembly instructions maybe. At the Model Student 20 said dog walk back in 20.
Alright, I'm back. Like I said, I had to go take a quick walk around the house, limber up the back a bit. It's a good thing, too, when I stood up, I felt my lower back and hips all pop into place. That was not a good feeling. I mean, it felt good, but it wasn't good to feel, if that makes sense. Yes, Aries, I know I'm getting old. Or, not getting, I am old. But if that's the case, so are you. Okay. When it comes to painting, we're definitely going to have to paint the engine bay area black. Because these fins will be opened a little bit. L screw, there it is. 13. That squared up. 15. I just lost orientation of my... There we go. It's definitely going to get interesting when it comes to painting on this. I'll have to pay more attention where I put mud and dirt. It's not as simple as 35th scale when you can kind of splatter stuff. You actually have to go through and more selectively apply it. I just wish there was more reference available on these. I know there's two of these chassis surviving. One's at Bovington, I believe the other one is in Russia. But they're both of the 234/4. The Stummel, the one with the no turret, and it's just open topped with the anti-tank gun mounted in it. Basically an 8-wheel Stug. L12. And one is a slightly earlier variant. But the main issue being is they're all clean, so I can't look at them and go, how did these get dirty? Like, how did dirt act on these as it slapped off the wheels and then onto the undersides of the fenders and down the suspension? So we have to do some educated guessing on that. Try and find some pictures of them during the war and see what I can do from there. And depending on how far we get, I might be able to do a short, because we're getting pretty close to getting the tires all assembled, too. Might be able to do an in-progress short on this soon. There's enough of it complete to identify what it is. Outside of the one I already did for the working steering. And that's another hindsight being what it is thing right there. Had I known, I would have cut and replaced the brake lines with suitably sized wire. Because while they do flex, they restrict as well. So you can still get a turn out of them. But you just got to be extra careful. Alright, I need the G sprue. G as in George. Is that you? No, that's you. Well, that is you. That's the U sprue, not the G sprue. I honestly forget what these are now since I cut the tags off of them. Whoopsie! Oh, these are them. Okay. $53, $23. Once I get the hinges on, we'll be able to do the vents. After the vents, I think it's some final turret details, and then we can start working on the fenders a bit more. I can't install the fenders until the hull's glued together, but we're getting there. Okay, I need the F sprue though, still. It'll be next for the vents. Okay. So it looks like the 23s go on the hatch, the 53s go on the hull. Everybody else having an okay weekend, though?
Era Studios said meh.
You got your puppers. You can take them for a walk. Go have some fun. Throw a pupper frisbee. Or you could work on your Warhammer tank. Or prime the event horizon. Or plan your next WoW raid. Doom scroll? You could always doom scroll. Oh wait. That's what we were doing last night. Ugh.
Adele Student 20 said got distracted in the garden again, rolling on the floor laughing emoji.
And what was in the garden to distract you? Oh, I hit the camera. I mean, I know something's legal up in Canada, so yeah, if you're out in the garden and you got some of that growing out there and you know, you bring it in, dry it out, yeah. Really?
At Themadel Student 20 said the moving of 2 bushes and own weed removal. Baby girls went in last week. Rolling on the floor laughing emoji.
The what now? Or is that what you call the devil's lettuce up there, baby girls?
At Themadel Student 20 said I like to make butter for cooking.
Ah, yeah. Why make hinges functional if hinge no need open to something?
At Themadel Student 20 said devil's lettuce butter.
Oh, there you go. Instead of oregano. Bet that makes for some wild steaks. Stay on the model, not my thumb. Thank you. Alright, you little shitbag of a part. Get on there. There we go. Now I need 2 little photo etch parts. First I want to do these parts because they're just bugging the hell out of me. Right there and right there. F22, F22, where are you? Well, there's a whole bunch of you.
At the model student 20 said good for circulation, collagen, sleep, etc.
Well, it turns out I'm one of those people that needs higher doses of stuff to feel things, which is probably why when I tested those certain gummies out, it didn't feel like they really did much for me, and they didn't last very long. Because when I was at the dentist recently, you know, they shot me up with Novocaine for a good deep cleaning because of other issues I've got, and it didn't last very long. And the dental hygienist noted that, and she's like, yeah, we need to put that in your notes that you need, like, double dose. So that being the case, what do I do from here? Because another thing I want to cut out, as soon as I can, is Tylenol PM. And that's why I tried out those gummies to see if they would, you know, help take the edge off like Tylenol PM does. Especially for the back pains and things like that. If they did, I didn't notice. And they also didn't keep me under very much.
At the model student 20 said we have gummies here that'll KO you, but they're a high dosage.
Yeah, the highest dosage I got from the ones here was 25 milligrams. But that was also Halo 9, not 8. Okay, I need the photo etch parts. So do these just glue on, or do they get bent? Get bent! No.
At the model student 20 said distillate would be stronger as well.
Yeah, but given where I live, it's hard enough to even get a card, a medicinal card, than anything else, so yeah. I need to see something here real quick. To the Google I go.
At the model student 20 said I'm a cheap date. I can get by on light dosage.
Yeah, I'm not. That's the problem.
At the model student 20 asks, can you grow there?
Nope. Utah is still very much trapped in the 1980s on a lot of things. Okay, there's photo etch parts that go here. The instructions look like they have a bend in them. I'm not sure. I'm trying to find one decent picture of the top of the engine deck of either of the two surviving examples so I can get an idea of what that little piece does and how it acts. Looks like it's just a raised rectangle that sits next to it. If that's the case, that is what it shall be.
At the Model Student 20 said OPE. I don't mind it, a lot of guys hate it for some reason.
Photo etch parts, it depends on how they're utilized. I've got a kit I can dig out and show you once we get... Remind me once we start getting towards the end. Edward, they do a photo etch set for their FW190 where you can replicate the inner part of the landing flaps and how they're all just really tiny ribs and stuff like that. It's great for that, you know. But the assembly is extremely fiddly, like you said. But there's a lot of cases that they'll have you shaving off and replacing details that to 99.9% of model builders is adequate. But there's that 1% out there that screams that that must be done because rivet count, you know. But that's your prerogative if you want to build it that way. Like, yeah, this is an example of it. Why am I gluing this on here, right? When they could have adjusted the tooling to have that raised block there. They did enough to inscribe a rectangle showing where to put it. So couldn't they have just molded that detail? Come here. There we go. But then Edward also has you putting photo etched grills on their FW190 around the engine assembly, and it's the only way you can do it in scale, especially if you're showing the engine open at 48 scale. There's no other way than to replace that wall, that engine bay wall, with that material to get that scale thickness and layer on the other panels and reinforcements.
It fits on a Tamiya chassis.
Oh yeah, it's for the old M16 Quad 50 kit and anything else based on it. F-screws. Alright, so now we have to do all these vents. F1 times 2. Now, have you done them? Now, are you talking for the actual track, or are you talking for the rollers and the drive sprocket to make that more realistic? Because I know the drive sprocket is very thin and spindly on that. The track itself is very under-detailed, and I think there's just... The only thing you could really replicate with photo etch on it is the guide horns. Because even the track on the real ones is essentially a large rubber band with a steel core.
At the Model Student 20 said no, it's the whole body.
Oh, so like the rest of the vehicle and stuff too. But that's where, you know, your personal
At Themodel Student 20 said you use the tracks and other stuff from Tamiya Kit.
but that's where your personal want of is this amount of bullshit worth it comes into play. There are some photo etch parts that do help models. And sometimes I look at them and go, why do they have me replacing this? But that's because certain things are fine to me, where there might be one guy out there going, it's not fit enough, you know? Where I'm sitting here doing a Steve Buscemi, looks good to me.
Themodel Student 20 said it's gotta be a dozen sheets or more.
Yeah, that sounds like too much to me. Okay, L38. Where do you go? You go here. So I'm going to put you on last.
At Themodel Student 20 said, I think it would make a good rack, because you can bend and distort the panels, etc.
Most of the wrecked half tracks I've seen, though, the body and stuff is still relatively intact. Because a lot of them, it was usually from internal, like, fires in the troop compartment, stuff like that. May as well get these off too.
At Themodel Student 20 said, well, mine's gonna be destroyed. Rolling
One
on
way or another.
emoji.
One thing about working with photo etch, especially if you've got to do something curved, with like a compound curve to it, like a fender or something, if you're ever trying that, heat is your friend.
Themodel Student 20 said, the kid is like that old song, I'm gonna hurt myself today. Rolling on the floor laughing emoji.
But heat is your friend. If you need to bend something and have it, like, say the photo etch seatbelts, right? You just can't get them to behave. Heat them up with a lighter until they start glowing. Then they'll bend and fold really well. Just be sure you don't do it too much, because you can actually start melting the copper. Or brass, whichever material they decided to use.
Student 20 said, dude took heat.
And honestly, maybe pop a few bucks on some of those metal earth kits that you see at Hobby Lobby or whatever hobby shops you got up there. Practice on those, because they're all photo etch. Just get used to the cutting and the bending and all that. So where would a good burned up half track look good? Two options that jump to mind. Normandy with a late Tiger cruising by, or make it an Israeli half track and have it be part of the Yom Kippur War, where they were getting knocked out pretty well by Syrian T-55s and 64s. Okay, does it matter which side of you is up? Doesn't look like it. These should just pop in to their respective holes and hold on okay enough. Until I can get glue on them. And also study the photo etch instructions and look at the parts on the kit and see if what they have you replacing is worth the effort. A lot of times, a good photo etch kit will include completely missing detail.
Said half out of a hole I thought with a tank or something stopped.
Yeah. Right? So a good, like I said, a good set will have like missing details represented. To me, a bad set has you shaving details off the kit that are perfectly fine to replace them with a photo etch piece and some styrene rod for nuts and bolts and rivets and stuff, when the kit part may have been adequate to begin with. Notice I say may because it can depend on the kit.
At Puma 20 said it like sits on top of the rolling chassis. I don't think you mix any kit parts in with the PE.
You'd be surprised. So it's replacing the entire upper superstructure? That sounds a bit much even to me. Hi, Marbles. Come here, big boy. Come here. There you go. Hi, Marbly boy. Come here. Come here, buddy. Oh, I got you, big boy. Oh, it's a big kitty cat. Yeah, the big marble boy. Yeah. Hi. I know, you don't like being held too much. Careful, you're about to go on the desk. Yeah. You want to get down? Okay. And there's today's fur allotment for the desk.
At Puma 20 said you need the resin engine because it allows you to have everything open.
Did it come with one? That's good. I'm going to glue these right here. I'll reposition them before the glue fully sets.
At Puma 20 said I don't think the donor Tamiya kit includes an engine, but not positive. I haven't opened it in a while.
It doesn't. It's got like an oil pan on the bottom, but it doesn't have the engine. I don't think any of them do, to be honest. Trying to see which way these go. Because some places have them facing forward, some places have them facing backward. Looks like backward it is. Okay. Yeah, they overlap to the rear. Okay.
At the Model Stim 20 set, the Lion's Roar box shows a resin engine and stowage if you want to add.
Do they offer those for sale, though? That's the thing. And are you still able to get them? Is the kit still in production for that? Because that's the other problem with a lot of aftermarket stuff is, okay, you bought the photo etch. You're cool, I want to build this. Shit, I want to show the engine off, but I bought this 5 years ago.
Don't have anything in January 16th, THT all yet.
So when you go to do that, you're like, well, crap, I can't buy it now because the Lion Roar set just went out of production. The company that did the work no longer exists, so now I can't get what I want. There might be 3D print files that could do it. Chances are there aren't. I even looked for an engine for this. Nothing. There's resin ones, but like I said, the resin aftermarket stuff for this costs more than the kit. And when the aftermarket costs more than the kit, it's not worth it. At least to me it isn't.
At the Model Stim 20 set, probably only maybe at the model show or a file.
Yeah, you might find them at a local show. Like I've had a Block 42 F-16 cockpit set saved on my eBay for like 2 years now. Because there's a kit that I saved from a thrift store. But the more I look at it, the more damaged the kit is. I might just throw it out. I really do not like how these are not positively locking in as good as they could. Good enough, I guess. I've had better luck with decals, believe it or not. The problem with them is you better use them within a couple years of buying them, or they will go bad. It doesn't matter who makes them.
At the Model Stim 20 set, I jet paid
where did you buy the decals? Honestly, I hate to say it, I found the best deals for decals is usually eBay. Especially if they're out of stock from the usual people that make them.
20 said I'm using MRGHT away kit is finished.
But I had an Italeri S3 Viking that had the Viking tail art with the yellow. And the kit decals were just terrible. They were falling apart. I couldn't get them to stay together, so I shelved it. It was mostly complete. And then I went to the Nationals with my father. Okay. But I found a seller at the Nationals in Phoenix back in 19. And he had the set. I was just looking through them. I'm like, wait a minute, 148 scale Viking. That's what I need. And they matched the ones that were in the kit in terms of the squadron. So I was able to basically throw out the sheet that came with it and still keep the decals I had used that I got to work with no problem. The fuck? Marmar, come here. Come here, buddy. I'm not going to pick you up again. I know you don't like that too much. Just want to... Nope, no pets either? Okay. Don't come whining. He'll come whining. Good news is my back is feeling a little better. And I think the reason it's feeling fucked up might be the pressure wave that's coming through. It went from high to low. And we're imminent for rain. I know, we can hear you. Yeah, Mew Mew. Yeah. They do.
At the Model Student 20 said resin stuff as well.
I'm amazed I'm still finding decently priced Verlinden stuff online, since the company is long out of business. By the way, Dragon models are about to get really expensive because the company is radically shifting something, which might affect their production and availability. Some say they might be getting out of the plastic business entirely, and they might be doing file sets instead. So yeah, there's something weird going on with Dragon models. I think they might be just getting out because everybody else is doing the same kits they've done, but better and slightly cheaper.
Ghost said, "Hi everyone. I was doom scrolling and found the channel, thought I would watch for a while."
Hey, Following Ghost, welcome, welcome. Yep, we love doom scrolling here. I think that's what Ares is doing right now instead of watching. Doom! Doom! Oh, wait. It's still not lining up. Helps if my eyes could see the little divot. There's the little divot.
At the model student 20 said these are bifundicles.
That almost sounds like a bad word.
At the model student 20 said howdy. At following ghost said hi MS.
I hope you like the channel. Streams are a bit sporadic, but they're usually on my days off twice a week. Sometimes back to back, sometimes spread out by a few days. I try and do some short stuff regularly too.
At the model student 20 said or something that can grow on your foot.
No, the foot version would be Famunda. Okay.
At following ghost said I do. You have a good looking feed.
I try.
At the model student 20 said I haven't used them before, I will do a review.
There you go. I'm not the best. I'm not really like a trend follower or anything like that. I kind of just do my own thing, especially when it comes to model building. Are you into model building too, or are you just generally just doom scrolling everything? Just seeing what pops up on your feed kind of stuff? Ah. Try a different one.
At the model student 20 said if you have a question or are uncertain about smithing, you're at a good place.
Yeah, this robot lady doesn't like your contractions like the other robot lady did.
At following ghost said I'm a retired professional model builder.
Okay.
Worked in the industry and many other areas.
I wanted to get into visual effects, but that was back in the early 2000s when everything was really shifting. Okay, something's not right here. Okay, pinch you in a bit more so you hold better. Then again, this probably has to be the shittiest design for this kind of part to begin with. I get it, Tacom's trying to get that detail fidelity in there in 16th scale. They didn't have to make it this much of a pain in the ass.
At the model student 20 said awesome, my friend is a retired model pro, lots of really neat stuff.
But when it comes to model building, I'm more of a Shep Payne kind of builder, not a an AK builder. I find a lot of those things tend to overcomplicate the process and overshadow the skill that it takes to build and paint a model more than...
Said I've done color masters, magazine covers and articles, prototypes for ERTL years ago.
Yeah, I think the modern process that they're trying to sell to people now takes the artistry out of it and the uniqueness. And then you wind up getting bastard stuff like this too. Who the heck just jumped on the back of my chair? That felt like an alley. It was.
At Fallen Ghost said I knew Chef. Visited him many times.
Oh, he was an inspiration to me growing up, but I know you probably hear a lot of people say that. But I loved his books. I had a copy of one of his books, the Making Dioramas, and I read it so much it fell apart, and I've recently bought another one. Yeah, these are falling out more than they're going in now. I'm just going to start gluing as I go.
Student20 asks, do you have a channel?
And one of the builds I did recently, the Back to Basics build, was heavily inspired and based on his stuff. Yeah, we're just going to glue these in as we go. I'm not fighting with that anymore. Sorry if I'm working off camera. I've kind of got something else taking up space, which I need to really move her. Hey, Fuzzball. Allie. Hi. Come here. Come here. I need you on the chair, girl. Come on. Come here. Oh.
Stream Elements said beware destiny. They will conquer all with their mighty fluffy paws. All shall bow down when they purr.
Another hazard when they jump up on the desk. Well, I was trying to pick her up, but she wouldn't sit still.
At Fallen Ghost said I do. Easiest way to find it, search Navarre Beach Black Tip. Just started adding model content after a severe health issue. At Themodel Student20 said felonious behavior. Rolling on the floor laughing emoji.
Well, normally she's not like that, but... come on. She didn't want to be moved, but I couldn't have her up here. And I'm really starting to get frustrated with this right now. This is the kind of thing I'd normally do off screen, because it's so irritating. I mean, I'd rather do early DML link-by-link track from the 90s than this.
At Themodel Student20 said sub.
Alright, let's move back to the other end then. Since this end wants to fight me.
Fallen Ghost said thank you.
Give me a sec. We're probably gonna have to take another quick break for the knee anyway.
sweat emoji.
Oh, we might go full dark side on this. Even with the best light, the little nub they leave you is barely perceptible.
At Femodel Student 20 said the force is strong with this one.
Oh, not today, it ain't. Unless you're talking about me forcing it into submission, then possibly. I mean, this almost ranks up there with the needless parts division on the Tasca Sherman suspension. There we go. Let's try and get this one back in.
20 said, did you see Darth Maul? I found it pretty good. I was pleasantly surprised.
I gave up on Disney Star Wars. It's not for me anymore. And that's all I'm really going to say about it. I have no interest in it anymore.
At Femodel Student 20 said, ta-da.
Because this one moved.
At Femodel Student 20 said, that's why I was surprised. I expected it to totally suck.
No, it's not about it sucking or not. Thematically, it's not for me anymore. Hasn't been for quite some time. Same with Star Trek. Ever since 2009, Star Trek's been about vengeance. Star Wars has become more about the member berries than the actual world. And to me, the Maul series is just a series of member berries. All based on a short comic released by the graphic designers who did the work, the production design work for Episode 3, called Visionaries, where Darth Maul reappeared with his fake legs. I get they worked it into the Clone Wars, but yeah, it's sci-fi, but it's jumped so many sharks that it's ridiculous now. It just doesn't interest me. I have no interest in anything from that universe anymore, past the original stuff. Son of a fuck. Let's change the subject, shall we? Because I just put my finger through the vents. We might be ending stream early if this continues.
Said, Aeon member berries, I remember them. Rolling on the floor laughing emoji.
Come on, you German piece of shit. There.
At Femodel Student 20 said, that's a new pair of shorts.
What, putting your finger right through the grates as you get them all lined up? Yeah. Just let me get through this. I need to be able to concentrate on it. Sorry.
At Following Ghost said, I do a lot of builds, just upset the hardcore SW and ST fans. I've gotten pretty good at it.
Well, that's just it. I'm not one of the hardcore fans, but I have what I like. And I don't like where either series is going, you know? Like I said, ever since 2009, Star Trek has been about vengeance, you know? And I miss the show that looked ahead. And, like, we talked about it last stream, actually, where Star Trek has become, for lack of a better term, stuck. Because the original shows would tackle current events. We'll use that term. Current subjects. How's that? They tackle current issues. But they do it in a very... I don't know if ambiguous is the right word, but they do it in a very neutral way. And that neutrality allowed viewers on either side of the fence to approach the subject and engage with it and draw their own conclusion in the show. Instead, now, we're told, if you don't like what we say, you're bad. And that's not what I want. Chicken charge? I must have missed something there.
At Following Ghost said, I posted a build a couple of weeks ago that got around 1,100 likes and had the truckers turning purple, lol.
Oh, don't even get me started about the new ship design. Especially the shit in Picard. How have we stepped backwards from the Enterprise D and E? It feels like we're reusing the Constitution and Constellation hulls. Because, remember, the Enterprise... It's not even that. I like Janeway. Janeway was a captain in the vein of Sarah Connor and Ripley. She didn't demand respect, she was just in charge, you know? So it's not about that at all. Current girl bossing, yeah, that's kind of blech. You know, I'll agree with that, especially with, what was her name, Holly Hunter, I think, from Raising Arizona and The Incredibles. Her trying to pull an Eartha Kitt in the captain's chair, just You don't see these people being professional people in charge of a ship, no matter who they cast. Just the way they act, the way they feel to the eye, it just doesn't work. Yeah, this is going to be some ugly shit. This is going to be some ugly shit. I'm going to have to find a way to hide that. But like I said, you know, I grew up with Sarah Connor, Ellen Ripley, Barbarella, you know. But those were also competently written characters. Even Sigourney Weaver, if you watch her discussions on Alien 3, said that back then nobody really knew how to write for her character because she wasn't some girl boss football coach. She was a person who was put into positions that had to adapt.
At Themodel Student 20 said, can you imagine that latest crew in space? What a calamity.
Okay, I'm going to let these set up for a second. I got to figure a way to get them all to move equally. Probably just a handle like this.
At Following Ghost said I took the Defiant and an Enterprise-y hull, flipped the E upside down and reversed it, then put it on the front of the Defiant. Added tons of other things.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that one. It didn't bother me, but then again, I look at Trek differently. I've seen so many fan designs over the years that one really has to jump out at me to get me to go, ooh. Yours I saw, I'm like, that's kind of cool. The scales don't work, but it's kind of cool. It's sci-fi, you know. But the one thing that gets me in Star Trek especially
At Themodel Student 20 said
is the headcanon horse. That they are so adamant about their ship that they're building, their model that they're making, exists in the Star Trek universe. And it's like, no, thank you, no. And I know that you're not going that route with it. You were just having some fun. And naming conventions. There's somebody who, you know, they did excellent work on their builds. I think I saw it on Fouled Anchor. They had done a tribute ship to Neil deGrasse Tyson. Personally, I would have just named it the USS Tyson. It's Star Trek. It deals with science and science fiction. Any moderately intelligent person could, you know, fill in the blanks and figure out who the ship is named after. There's some names out there that just go on a little too long and kind of, they're not easy to say.
At Following Ghost said yes, I'm building a task force for a story in my head. Nothing to do with either franchise.
Oh no, I get that. But I know you probably ran into the type of people I'm discussing, though. Like, even I like to play loosey-goosey. But if I'm building, like, say I'm building the Enterprise, right? like the refit. Say I'm working on a refit. You know, because I've done a refit, but I look at the filming model, and the filming model only. Not, oh, it looked like this in this frame of this movie, you know, filmed 40 years ago.
He said, I'm developing my space tax idea, built a couple prototype ships. Following those,
Yeah.
he said many times. One reason I stopped building for sci-fi collectors.
No, I get that. But I'm not so much of a rivet counter. Like, my refit has no blinking lights. I even left the shuttle bay out of it, because it wasn't there. It's its own set. But I built it to how I wanted it. If anyone else said anything, it's like, okay, cool, build yours, have fun. But yeah, there's some pretty stringent people that, you know, they get fixated on the shade of gray that they saw on their TV back in 1982 that wasn't really there. It's all due to the lighting and everything. So I try and get just the filming model pictures, because I've found if you build it right color-wise to the filming model, it'll look right when it's done. But that's my take on it. There's other people who want it to look how it looks on screen. There's another person I know that they're doing a bird of prey. They're saturating the green a bit more so it looks how it did in Star Trek 3. But I also understand that they really overdid the color saturation in that film. So the Enterprise looks really blue-gray, really oversaturated in that film compared to normal. But it's all how we take on what we're looking at. I'm building a smaller Reliant, the 537 scale one, for a customer. I've just got a few more decals to throw on her and she's done. They're fine with how the decals look for the Aztec. I don't like it. The colors are too strong. But that's more an aesthetic choice than anything.
At Themodel Student 20 said, I have a couple polar lights, one 350th in the stash, both the NX and the refit.
I'd like to give the NX-01 another try. I tried building it, God, 20 years ago now. That kid's 20 years old. Jesus. Sorry, knees are bugging. But I think you know what I'm getting at, where it's all... The hell are you doing on my desk? I sprayed for you. It really is all subjective. But what I don't like is...
At Themodel Student 20 said, Dummy makes the masks for all of them, I think.
No, I don't like using the masks. I like Round 2's Aztec decals for the refit. They are the perfect amount of saturation and barely perceptible when done right, especially if with Pearl Tamiya as the base coat. What I dislike is if I put it out there, you get said know-it-all that starts ripping your model apart based on their perception of it from just the films. You know, it's because of their headcanon and like why this and that. Like some people see the strongback on the refit as green. I've always seen it as blue and gray. Some people see it as a light gray color because there was one section of the motion picture during the rollout scene where it looked that light gray color. But having seen enough pictures of the actual model from the Christie's auction, on display at the Blue Origin headquarters and other places, I feel confident in saying that it's a blue-gray color in this range.
Cool, 'cause I
Right
would
now?
rather use decals than all the masks, I think.
You know? But that's my take on it. If somebody else wants to do that, that's fine on them. I'll just keep my mouth shut if I like it or not. So the
Ghost
instructions.
said I did the color masters for the Mos Eisley band for Hasbro. They sent me 8 by 10 photos taken on set during filming.
See? So you have, and that came straight from Lucasfilm, right? So you have a quantifiable reference to go by that the owning organization of the subject wants you to reproduce. And you're held to that standard. That's perfectly fine. So the instructions have me gluing the hull together now. Should I paint or should I not paint? I want to do a test and see just how much we're going to see. If I wasted all that time... Well, I had to assemble all this to get these to work.
At Model Student 20 said it's that 50-60 sci-fi blue-gray I always found.
So I want to see how much we're going to see in here once the figures are in place. Because if not, I might just sacrifice all that detail and say fuck it, because there's not even a driver's seat for this guy, and he's standing and leaning here.
Ghost said correct. And I stayed with it.
And that's what I do. When I work on a model, I pick a series of photos. That's my baseline. You know, I don't go off of the film because TV exposures, all different things change the way the models look. So, given the hatches aren't installed, there's more room than there would be. That's a hard call. I think I'm just going to shoot the interior black and call it good, because you're really not going to see much. I'm not going to screw around with it much. It's more about the outside presentation. Okay. So, before I spray that, let me get the inside of the turret, make sure it's complete, as far as I'll need, and then we'll get to shooting some black and gluing this together. Last minute decision, but I'm not going to waste time and effort on painting all of this and detailing it and washing it and all that when you're not going to see it, you know? But Ghost, since you have that kind of insider knowledge, which I very much appreciate. Like people for years until let me get some more music going too. Until the Fine Molds Falcon came out, which people still shit on.
Following Ghost said good call. No need to do too much for nothing.
Until the Fine Molds Falcon came out, the only Falcon kit was the Ertl one. And everybody always complained about the sidewalls being too high. MPC in the 70s had nothing to do with that because they were given designs approved by Lucasfilm and they were told to use them. That's it. Done. End of story. You know? That's all the control they had of that. They had to use the designs given for the model they made. So yeah, there's more crap I could glue on into here. I'm not going to worry about it because you're not going to see it. Once the hatch is built and installed, the figure's in the hatch. So yeah, let's spray some black. So I totally understand that. Let me show you my my Defiant. And like I said, this is painted based off of pictures of the filming model taken at Christie's. I saw what I saw using my monitor, so you'll see how it turns out, or how it turned out. Give me 1 second. Moving the camera to have more space. Sorry. And this is the Ertl. They call it 450th scale. I call it 350th. It works. I'll be right back. But these are the colors I saw on screen. It does light up too. It's not totally finished. I still have to do the paneling and paint some more fine details. But these are the colors I saw on the filming model at the Christie's auction, as I interpreted them and matched them. The only thing I did different is I got the HDA ModelWorks decals because the kit decals were so yellowed I couldn't use them. But yeah, I've even got the purple glow coming through here. I'd get the plug, but it's up there. But yeah, that's my take on it, based on what I saw. Is it exact? Probably not. But it looks good enough for me. I'm going to put the pause screen up. I will be back in just a moment. I have to use the restroom.
At following Ghost said if someone is happy with their build, that's all that matters. And that's the basic thing. If you're happy with it, that's what matters. And that kind of bleeds into a lot of what I'm seeing online in the hobby is the shoulders, you know. Here's how you should paint your armor model. Here's how you should do this and should do that. And they wind up, we're going to try out some new paint. They wind up shilling for specific companies, and
It's really depressing. So we're going to try some of that new crap they're selling at Hobby Lobby because they don't carry Vallejo anymore. And we'll see how this works. I did a test with their gloss over a black metallic. Seems okay. Takes a few coats to level out. We'll see how it goes in here. And it's okay if it gets all screwy in here because you're really not going to see much of it. So perfect place to test it. Make sure the seal's off. It is. Okay. See how this stuff sprays too. Says it's for airbrush. Generally, airbrush made paints tend to be a bit on the thick side and require a little bit of thinning down. That's not terrible. Could have a higher flow rate, but that's not bad. Let's add a little bit of thinner to it and see what happens. Thinner being Windex. One squirt just to break the... Hi, Allie. Don't scratch me again, okay, girl? Just to break that surface tension. Okay, clean off the tip real quick since it sat for a moment while I was messing with it. If these perform at least as well as Vallejo, I'll be happy, and I'll probably take $100 and go buy most of the line because it's only $2 a bottle. But if I like how this performs, we might just do that. Yes, I've got my windows open, and there's a very good breeze today. Ooh, yeah, I like that now. Yeah, just a hair bit of thinning, and this stuff goes out silky. Is it Polyester good? No. But it's at least Vallejo good. I'm still debating on whether or not I should keep my old flow quills, since I never use them. Okay. Yeah, they're reacting with something there, but that's probably because I didn't clean it from touching it so much. That's my bad. Oh yeah, I like what that's doing now. And that's just with one little squirt of Windex in it. Yeah, had I known this, I would have just glued the armored shutters closed. But I think having them open, especially in the relaxed setting with the crew on top of it, with the guy petting the cat on top of the turret, you'd want the shutters open. It just helps sell that idea of relaxation. Okay, yeah, we're running out. We still got to do the inside of the turret. Allie. Yeah, normally when she jumps on the desk, I have a box for her. This takes up so much space, I don't have room for a box. So that was my bad earlier and made her a bit uncomfortable. There we go.
Following Ghost just followed.
Thank you for that, Following Ghost, and I will be sure to find your channel in a moment when I'm done, and do the same. Check out some of your stuff. Ooh, that just had a spit. That's good. Not worried about light blocking or anything, just eye blocking, really. So, more than enough. But our next stream day will be Friday. And then after that, it will be the following Monday and Tuesday. My schedule gets a bit weird next week. Which is why I really don't have a set streaming schedule. Because I really have no idea what it's going to be from about 2 weeks out. And I don't want to start telling people, oh, it's going to be these days, when it's not.
At Following Ghost said no problem. I watch a lot of live streams and try to support other gamers.
Much appreciated. Now that I know these airbrush this well, though, I might push my figure that I printed out to the front. But I really should finish like Ripley and some of the other figures that I've got already before I go into that. Okay. Get you back in your bottle. And if anyone's wondering about the music, it's by Evil Sound, if you want to look them up. They do some pretty neat stuff. Probably have to give this thing an ultrasonic cleaning tonight. Go. just recently passed 900 subs on the channel, and we're up to, I think, 14 now, thanks to you. 914. I just wish I'd been on YouTube longer, because I spent, I don't want to say wasted, that's the wrong idea. I spent a lot of time on Twitch. Still am, we're dual streaming this. But this channel has grown exponentially quicker than Twitch has. Twitch has kind of stagnated. Hi, Frankie. My streams are usually about 3 hours long, which we're right on track for that. Okay. So I slathered it on a bit thick in here because I wanted to be a little sloppy with it, just to see what it did and how it performed. Where can I scratch it where it won't really be noticeable? Yeah, back here. It's about like Vallejo. Vallejo stayed pretty fragile up until the point where you would, by the time it fully cured, which was about 2 or 3 days. So. Okay. Get some pieces of tape. Because in all the test fitting, I found you had to walk this, this hull back. No, I get that. Are you trying to do more stuff like what I'm doing, or just your general interest, like any outdoor stuff you might be into, things like that? Because I totally get it. I think it was 2 streams ago. I just had no energy that day. So I just decided to, stop streaming and take a day. And really, it's all about just doing what you want to do. Do I feel a responsibility to my audience? Yes. They're here supporting me, watching me, stuff like that. But at the same time, I tell my viewers, your health is not worth me building a model. It's not worth watching me build a model. And the same thing applies to me. Me building a model for you guys does not outweigh my own personal health. And there's been plenty of times I've called off streams because I just was not feeling right. I'm going to hit 50 in about a month and a half here. And I'm trying to make a lot of changes because I'm noticing that happening more and more frequently. And I don't want to have that emergency happen, if I can avoid it. Gotta reglue that.
At Following Ghost said just a bit of everything. Outside is really difficult for me, so artwork and models will be a lot of it.
Yeah, I'd say just start doing streams, or if you have the means to do recording setups, because I don't know editing for anything. If I knew editing, I would be making some more shorter form stuff. Or more high quality stuff. I'm pretty raw. I always say add 10 years because of military service. Because I've got a lot of physical ailments due to that. That's where my bad back comes from. My knees are probably associated with that. They call it degenerative arthritis. I call it kneeling on concrete. But one thing I found myself doing, which is detrimental to me in a way, is I'm trying to save everything for streaming when I build stuff. So I'm getting kind of behind in things where I really need to get back into just building and making shorts.
Now with AI editing is simple.
I don't want to use AI. Like I said, I'm pretty raw here. I want people to know that if they're watching this channel, what they're seeing is what they're seeing. And I'm in Utah, so we've got that big data center hubbub going here now too. But apparently that's happening everywhere, all at once. Kind of weird that. Let's get this seam done.
At Fallen Ghost said starting about 4 years ago trying to not die fighting cancer.
Oof.
It really messed me up. Oh, I meant only for editing, not creating.
Gotcha. So the AI can kind of frame blend and stuff like that. Come on.
At Dustin 20 said you're getting the first of those micro-reactors as well in Utah.
Oh, we've had it here, but I'm not at liberty to say anything about it. But the biggest problem I see isn't so much the data centers opening up and using water for cooling and stuff like that. And they're like, oh, we won't drain the Salt Lake. No, you'll just use the water that would normally go to the Salt Lake. Because it's already turned Antelope Island into Antelope Peninsula. It's the amount of people that are moving here now. And that's really what's causing issue. Because you got to think, that's more pipes.
I haven't tried that yet.
But,
Ghost said yes, it does quite a bit. Not like my editor, but plenty for short videos.
but what was I going to say? That's more water sitting in pipes, stagnant. It's not in the ecosystem going where it needs to. And it's noticeable, you know? I can count on one hand the amount of times it snowed this year. And by that, I mean an appreciable buildup of an inch or two. Okay. So we got that glued in. Let me get the back plate on it. Okay. There we go. And model student and I might have to start butting heads together about doing stuff. But unfortunately, I've got the same kind of problem that, Dr. Grant in Jurassic Park has.
Said, I think my son showed me one of those for Instagram.
And I can have a
Ghost said, and I only use the mobile versions.
I can have a perfectly running system. Everything's set, updated, everything, every single thing is up to date, sorted correctly, drivers, everything. The moment I go to use it, it will not work right.
Wendy said I use OpenShot.
I just used OBS. Aries has actually seen it happen where that computer glitch syndrome, I'll call it, just screwed things up. At first we used to think it was just because Air Force computers. And then it started happening to me at home. And he's like, what is it? I'm like, I don't know. He and I literally have the same computers right now. And he has no issues where I have tons. And it's not like virus related stuff or anything like that, just my shit updates at odder times than his.
At the Model Student 20 said I love OBS. It is great for all my cams and audio.
Sorry. Just massaging the panel to get it to fully seat. Okay. Where's that one that popped free? Is it that one? There it is. Okay. So they got me gluing on the fenders next. Off stream I might jump ahead and build the rims and get the wheels mounted. And that way I can do a short tonight. Because it'll have the turret, fenders, rims, all that.
At the Model Student 20 said several of my friends as well as myself are getting scroll wheel problems on both 11.
No, mine will be like, I'll log in, I'll go to use, there's the MG, I'll log in, I'll go to start up OBS, and suddenly all of my connections to Caster Labs for the multi-streaming, gone. Just not there. I didn't touch anything, nothing updated, nothing changed. They just decided to not be there anymore. Now I'm not going to waste time painting this either. And the only thing I did the day before was we're streaming like we are now. When I end, I'll hit end stop streaming, let everything kind of run down and disconnect, and I'll shut it down normally, no warnings, no issues. Then I'll go to start it the next day and half the stuff's not working. And I'm like, nothing updated, so what's the deal? And there's been times we've had to go and basically rebuild things for OBS for it to work when, like I said, he's running the exact same setup. He literally has the exact same computer, RAM, everything I have. And his computer isn't having those issues. But he's also more computer literate than I am, so he might see something coming before I do and just kind of nip it in the butt. I mean, 11 has its own glitches. I'm not experiencing any of those. Knock on wood. But I'm probably not doing the things that other people experiencing those glitches are doing. That's much better. I've already got one of these finished in terms of gluing the doors on it. I know I whinge about the tiny parts. I wish they would have left the padlocks off. So if I wanted to, I could have modeled them open. But I'm not about to try cutting those out.
Model student 20 said no microsurgery.
No. I'm kind of past that now. I look at a lot of what's being thrown around out there as what you need to do for good models now, and I'm like, no, it's not fun. It reminds me of 2004 when I got the Dragon first release of their initial Tiger. And they had 35th scale padlocks with separate hoops. So like that arch piece right there. Oh, come on, autofocus. Be nice today. Not today? You're not going to behave today? Okay. So the arch piece was a separate part. It was a separate photo etch part. And my face camera is all over now. There we go.
At Following Ghost said have to go take care of the dog. Had a good time, looking forward to seeing more. Thanks for the conversation.
No worries. Thanks for hanging out. Thank you for the sub on Twitch. Every little bit helps. And you have fun with the little pupper. Where did my kitty cat go? I saw Frankie come up. He was probably looking to see if I was done yet. He wants to play fetch. Give me 1 second. Sorry, it looks like I'm mouth breathing here. There we go. Now I've seen some of his work popping up on the forums lately. I'll watch later so I don't get any strikes. So, yeah, there we go. Really? Butterfingers. So I don't know how quickly this Mr. Cement S in the yellow cap works compared to the Plastrux stuff. And I need to see something. Yeah, it looks like the seam lines line up. I want to at least have this on its wheels by tonight. But it's been pretty good glue so far. We'll see. There we go. Whoops. Missed the garbage can entirely. Yeah, let's get that glued back on before we put a fender on there. I'll probably still be able to touch it, but I just want to be sure. I will. Just if there's any music, I want to be sure that I don't get a copyright strike during the live stream, which YouTube's been really, really crappy about lately. So I can't do it while I'm watching, or while I'm streaming. But I'll get to it when I'm done. I already followed him. And like I said, his models have been popping up on my feed on Facebook too. So I am aware of his presence. Okay. Now the fun part. There is no positive locators for these. The only thing you got to go on is this seam line here, matching up with this seam line here, this peak with this peak. Other than that, there's no positive location markers whatsoever on this. Am I missing something?
At Puma Student 20 said the 3D drawing is crazy.
Okay, that goes in after. Alright, cool. Like I said, I'll check it out. I'm kind of doing something here. I'll get to it when I get to it.
At the Model Student 20 said she's taking shape now, getting an idea of what she's gonna look like.
Yeah, I'm starting to get my mojo back for it too, because the suspension on this, if you don't care if the tires or the wheels turn left or right, go with the simple one. Or if you must have them turn, find the mix between the simple and the required parts for turning. There's got to be a middle ground, because wow, that was a slog. That was painful. It's not bad, but holy shit. A little overcomplicated. And it's a heavy model too. Like, yeah, it's 1/16, but this is some thick plastic. I mean, look at that. That's how thick your hull parts were too. Should I take a file to the fenders and give it some dents and nicks? But if I do that, I should do bullet holes. And if I do that, I'll need to thin it to get the hole to look right. So, yeah, we probably won't do that. You see how that all kind of goes from one thing to the next on that? Yeah. I think we'll just build it nice and neat looking. I'll have to shoot some primer on that to see how that looks. That may not look as ugly as I think. And here's the turret. I'm gonna have to do something about that too. I might wind up gluing the barrel up. Well, if you think about it, a lot of these things, their lifespan wasn't months or even weeks, it was days. If they did last longer than that, they were either beat to shit or still looked relatively good. But yeah, that's what we're looking at right now. Let me see what we have to do to get the wheels assembled, because I'll probably do that off stream. Because we're at our time limit. Oh yeah, it's just 4 parts. Yeah, we don't have too much more to go. It's here to there. And we'll be doing the command version. I'll be putting the star antenna on it. External stuff for the turret. Alright. But yeah, I think we'll wrap it up now. Let this dry. Work on the wheels, and then I'll get a short up later tonight. But thanks for hanging out. Thank you for all the new subs and follows, if there have been any on Twitch that I didn't catch. My notifications have been a bit weak. But yeah, this has been an adventure, especially those louvers in the back. I hope they don't look too out of whack when I'm done with it. I might see if I can find some tank riders or something to put on there and kind of hide it a little bit. But I'm gonna go eat. Thank you everybody for watching, and y'all take it easy and have a good rest of your weekend. And